Yo, this Kazakiah from YKU. Listen, I say, children of Israel, take off the veil, come back to life and break out of hell. Can't lose the fight, get up if you fail. Messiah the light, so I can't derail. I'ma do right, I'm not by myself. The real 12 tribes, we scattered for real. We see with new sight, most can't even tell. Yeah, the pain so real, they don't know how I feel. Yo, Shalom. Peace and blessings. All praise to the Most High, first and foremost. Shalom, Ishbakah family. I'm back again, and man, it's a lot I want to talk about, but I'm gonna just put it to you like this: it's a lot, and I'm not an expert on certain things, but this is what the Most High been showing me, and I'm gonna reveal it to the best of my ability. So as the video go, I'm gonna be putting things in it to help you get a better understanding of what I'm saying. Yeah, might be a few parts to it, but first and foremost, I'm gonna go as the Spirit lead me. So if you are familiar, I spoke on it briefly in a video before. The heavens and the scriptures playing out in the heavens. You see what I'm saying? And the signs of the times, right? So first and foremost, I'm gonna go to Genesis real quick. Okay, and God said, Genesis 1:14, and Yahweh said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Yahweh made the two lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. And he set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And Yahweh saw that it was good. But the point was that let them be for lights in the firmament. Let there be for lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. People miss the signs part. It's the signs. That they show in the heavens. This is what we gonna do. I spoke about Revelation 12 appearing in heaven 2017, right? I'm gonna put that up here so y'all can see it.
On September 23rd, 2017, Revelation chapter 12 was literally in the stars, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. 7 years later, and in just a few days, on October 9th, 2024, Revelation will once again be in the stars, but this time with the 4 horsemen from Revelation chapter 6. There are also more things in the stars on this day from Revelation chapter 4 and chapter 12. Take a look at this 2-minute short summary from the channel Blow the Shofar on what will be in the skies on October 9th.
Now that we have explored all of the parts of the sign, let's put it all together. Behold Jupiter, one like unto the Son of Man, and looking like a sardine stone, stands still in a half hour of silence in the heavens at the golden gateway of the ecliptic, and knocks. He is in the presence of the 7 candlesticks of the 7 sisters, who are in turn in conjunction with Uranus, meaning heaven. He then enters into the east gate and exits by the same. Then, behold the 4 horsemen, beginning with the white horse with a crown, to whom was given a moon shaped like a bow. And then the black horse, upon whom sat Venus with a pair of scales, a light shining in a dark place, or on a dark horse. They are then followed by the red horse of Mars, to whom was given a great sword, and his Gemini twin, the pale horse of Apollyon, 5 months later, who together sit above a unicorn, which could be thought of as a horse with a great sword. Next comes Saturn, a symbol of Babylon the Great, who, with its rings like a giant millstone, is thrown into a sea of water, poured from a bowl of wrath into the sky. All of this while a meteor shower coming from Draco the red dragon, whose tail spans a third of the sky, and who casts stars to the earth as a nation is born in a day. He stands with a crown of 7 stars on his head in the presence of Virgo. Finally, the sun rises like a bridegroom holding the hand of the Virgo clothed in fine linen, bright and pure, at 6:40 a.m. in Jerusalem on the 9th of October. Every heavenly body visible to the naked eye is used in symbolically meaningful ways to paint a picture in the stars that is described in the book of Revelation thousands of years in advance. It would be challenging to design such an alignment by hand, and yet here it is.
Check out their entire video in the description because there's so much more to see, and that video that they made will explain all the signs individually and what they mean and how they are in the book of Revelation. You can even check out the Revelation 12 sign back in 2017 in the Stellarium app to see it for yourself. And you can also see the Revelation signs from October 9th in just a few days on that Stellarium app as well. This is not even me date setting anything. I'm just literally showing you what is in the stars on those specific days. You can go to any year of any month of any day and check out what the sky looked like in such and such a day and such year. And it just so happens to be that on October 9th, we have what was written in Revelation in the stars. We know that God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years." Psalm chapter 19, 1 through 4, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun." Those verses are very important because God made the stars for signs, seasons, and for the days and years. So we are not looking at these stars as something to worship, but rather to be at watch, just to keep watch to see what season we're in the sense of the end and last days. Jesus Christ said himself, even in Luke chapter 21, "And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth a distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh." This year alone, we've had many signs in the sun, moon, and stars, and especially a distress of nations with the wars in the Middle East. And in this video I made, I covered all the recent signs actually and how they're important. So check out that video in the description if you haven't already. I mentioned how on April 8th, we had a solar eclipse that made a giant X over the United States. This past week on the Feast of Trumpets was a Ring of Fire annular eclipse. On August 19th was a rare super blue moon. On September 17th was a rare super harvest blood moon eclipse that won't appear again until 2042. Earth currently has 2 moons right now for the next 50 days or so, and recently on October 3rd, the sun had its biggest solar flare since 2017. As you see right here, sun releases strong solar flare, peaking at around October 3rd, 8 a.m. So yeah, this is again a sign in the sun. And I mentioned signs in the moon with the past eclipses recently. And recently we have Hurricane Helene, which is very tragic. And I pray and hope that those people will recover very soon. Also on October 17th, we have a thing called a super hunter's moon. I actually never heard of a hunter's moon before, but I mean, this is going to be the largest full super moon of this year. And then we have many more celestial events in October 2024, which you could pause the video and read what we have coming up on October 8th to 9th, and then so on and so forth. So as you see, when we keep watch, and Jesus said, when these things come to pass, look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Even further in Luke chapter 21, Jesus says, but take heed to yourselves, lest your hearts be weighted down with carousing and drunkenness and cares of this life, and that day come on you unexpectedly, for it will come as a snare on all those who dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch therefore, and pray always that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. This is important because the fact that 7 years ago we have the Revelation 12 sign, and then 7 years later in 2024 we have more signs from the book of Revelation. Could this mean something? What does this new Revelation sign in the stars mean? You know, especially with it being 7 years after the Revelation 12 sign. The reason why it's important is because there are many instances in the Bible where God uses patterns of sevens, but in particular, often marking periods of divine judgment, warning, or preparation. For example, the 7-day siege of Jericho, the 7-year famine warning in Egypt, Nebuchadnezzar's madness for 7 times, and the 7-day warning for Noah and his family before God poured out his wrath on the whole face of the earth. So with the 7-day siege in Jericho found in Joshua chapter 6, before the destruction of Jericho, God commanded Joshua to have the Israelites march around the city for 7 days. And on the 7th day, they are to march 7 times, blow trumpets, and the walls will collapse. And this 7-day period served as a sort of countdown to judgment for Jericho. With Pharaoh's dream of the 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine found in Genesis chapter 41, Pharaoh's dream was interpreted by Joseph, who warns of 7 years of plenty with the land of Egypt, followed by 7 years of famine with the land of Egypt. So the dream that Pharaoh had served as a 7-year warning to store food in preparation for the coming 7 years of famine. So God warned Pharaoh 7 years in advance in his dream with what he's going to do. In Daniel chapter 4, King Nebuchadnezzar is warned in a dream that he will be driven away from society and live as a beast for 7 years until he acknowledges God's sovereignty. It says here in Daniel chapter 4 verse 16, let his heart be changed from that of a man, let him be given the heart of a beast, and let 7 times pass over him.
So 2017, I believe, was the start of the Great Awakening. And another reason I'm making this video is because we at the end times, so understand the end times prophecy, you have to understand in the right context. And I think the big part, we're not talking about the Hebrew community, but just the Christian apologetic, modern Christian understanding of prophecy is altered because, for one, they don't know who the children of Israel really are. They going off of what they've been told. And I've seen some numbers, people put numbers and show that, the same way the stars is aligning right now in certain times, 1948, for example, when Israel got declared as a state or whatever, and then Jerusalem, I believe in 1950 something, Jerusalem was made the capital and all of that. So they trying to reenact, or not reenact, but they're trying to play out prophecy by doing certain events and certain things, and like, oh, Israel was restored, Israel basically woke up, in the sense, the way the Bible narrates it though, they're doing it wrong. Because this is the thing. How would it make sense The scriptures always spoke about Israel repenting, crying out to the Most High, and then he hears them and he heals their land, right? So dealing with the end times, and we know the Messiah came, then the restoration is going to be through him, through the Messiah. The people that claim that they're the people of the Bible, they're looking for a David character king to rise that never came, a Mashiach that never came before. But we proclaim that Messiah has came and risen already, right? So that's a red flag, because y'all can't be the people of the book. Y'all awaiting the Antichrist. And now it's a thing with that. If you have an Antichrist, a false Christ, he's going to need a false people. He's going to need a false people to promote him. To be like, yeah, we need to build this third temple, because they're doing that right now. And we're going to get into all of this because everything is playing out above us as well. So the Antichrist is setting up a mass delusion, both of them, mass illusion, delusion, and it's going to get the majority of the Christian people, the Christian world, it's going to get the Judaic world, and it's going to get the Islamic world as well. They fall into it too. That's why we have to understand these things in its true context, right? So I gave that long spiel. So look, 2017. You see the constellation of the woman, the Virgo. You see the Leo constellation above her head. Usually is 9 in that constellation of Leo. But in 2017 specifically, on September, forget the exact date, it'll be up here. There is the specific 12 stars over her head. So 3 more stars enter into the Leo constellation. I forgot the exact stars. It'll be there. And it made 12 stars over the woman's head, with the sun like right here, close to her face, and the moon close to the bottom of her feet. That's the same thing we see in Revelation 12. That played out 2017. 7 years later, the Dragon constellation, the Draco the Dragon. If you pull up, I got an app too. You can pull up the app at this time right now and look up at the sky and look at the zodiacs, and you will see Draco the Dragon right there. If you pause the video, you will be able to count 10 stars that make up the dragon body, with 2 on the wings and the feet. So if you look, this is the Draco constellation, and we gonna count the stars from the tail to the body. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The last 2 is attached to them other 2 stars. But that's up, not from the body. So this is the head. And watch, that's 1 star, but it's really a double star. I'm gonna show y'all that in a second. I seen it on this app before. I couldn't figure out how to find it, but this is considered a double star. And the next star, Rastaban, this is considered a double star. This is the 3rd double star, so that'll make 6 in the constellation, and then 1 extra star will make 7 for the head. And then there's a video of somebody going into the 7 crowns over the head of Draco in the constellations. That's in another video, but He has proven that those stars in the constellation of Draco is a double star. And then this is live, February 23rd. All the stars that's lining up in the constellations. And on February 28th of this month, all these stars will be in a line in the sky, clearly for people to see. When stars is in alignment, it gotta mean something. So this is something showing that the beginning of the year coming up in this spring will be the 121st. So if we read the verse, it says, Yahweh said, my Ruach shall not always strive with man, for that he is flesh, and yet his years shall be 120 years. If you know the Bible is coded, then asking, is this years or jubilees is a good question. Because when you add up the calculations, it's pretty close. A marker of the end. So, we just gonna read Revelation 12 real quick. Revelation chapter 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and under her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. That, I believe, Jupiter's star was actually in the woman constellation for 9 months. Accurately, as it says, getting ready to give birth. And then it goes out, they call it like retrograde or something, and then it leaves the womb. And pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Like I said, I'm not an expert in the astrology and astronomy part of it, but if you study astronomy or you look at videos on YouTube, it's countless videos on this stuff, and you can see people explaining it, showing you everything that I'm gonna bring forth to you. I'm just doing my part and being a messenger the best way that I can be. And she brought forth the man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto the Most High and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness. This is a key part of history too, for prophecy, because this is all symbolic of Israel's history as well, and what happened after the crucifixion and resurrection, and then what happened to the people. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Now, I can probably agree that it might be twofold with that, because what we see in Daniel, that's explained that the woman will be hid from the face of the, well, Revelation say that we'll be hid from the face of the serpent, but the way Daniel explains it is that we will be in the little horn's hand for this amount of time. But the Most High keeping a remnant, like Zechariah says, that remnant that makes it through the fire, tried as gold as furnace. So this is the tried in the fire, who the Most High is talking about, the remnant of the woman's seed. Do I gotta get all these precepts for y'all? Right? But it says that she's fed there 1,203 days. Now, people look at that as 3.5 years, right? Some people look at this as the tribulation, and this is the start of the tribulation. But I'm here to inform you that the wilderness is a much longer span than we think. But this part of it is the twofold part that could take place during the Antichrist rule, but it's not going to be the way that they saying it with the Antichrist. Why would they build the Antichrist a temple just for him to persecute the people that helped him build it and then trodden them down? That don't make sense. But the Antichrist and the beast system is going to try to trodden down Israel, who are scattered to the four corners of the earth. The narrative they pushing that all Israel's coming back and now they finna build a third temple and all Jews can come back to the land. Why all the Jews ain't been back in the land? Where's Naphtali? Where's Dan? Where's Asher? Where's Benjamin? Judah? Judah there? Oh, okay. Benjamin there? Okay. Where's Issachar? You know what I'm saying? But no. The Bible talks about us being found where in the land of our captivity, and we wake up there. Scattered. That's more accurate. And then we wake up in the land of our captivity, and then he come get us. What's the wilderness? We're in the wilderness. We fled into the wilderness after 70 AD, and we've been there since. We'll get into that. I'm gonna stop ranting. I'm gonna keep going though. Watch this. And the dragon was cast out. Okay. Hold on, wait. So then a war in heaven, and then the devil cast out, right? And then the dragon comes down to the earth, right? And went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua. So that's the end game. Once everything is revealed, then okay, let me read this part. Overcame them by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives to death, right? Verse 12, Revelation 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Watch this. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. How was the dragon cast unto the earth? You could look at this many different ways. But the man-child already came forth and was caught up to God, and the devil tried to devour him as soon as it was born. So let's look at the allegory. Didn't that happen? So when Messiah got crucified and resurrected, that brought Satan down. It took his power away from him. He went down to the pit and stole the keys of death. Right? Satan has no more power. So then the woman flees into the wilderness, and now the devil pursues her. And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time. You see how we keep going over it though? Because in verse 6 it say this, that she flee into the wilderness, where a place is prepared for her, where she'll be fed 1,203 days. 3.5 years, right? But let's look at it right here. great eagle, 2 wings of a great eagle that she might fly into the wilderness. This is going to be in the heavens too. I'm going to show this part too. Where she is nourished for a time and times and a half of a time from the face of the serpent. That is a long period of time where she's hid from the face of the serpent. It's longer than you think. It's not 3.5 years. That's the second portion of it. But we have to look at this time, times and a half of a time. Yes, you could look at that 1, 2, and then 3.5. Yes, you can. But a time is 490. It's a jubilee. And times is 980. So when you do this calculation, and then a half of that is 245. So when you do this calculation and you put it at the time of the little horn, like Daniel says, which is Constantine the Great, and you put that number right there, you get 312 plus 1715. Do the math. So that's how long Israel was in the hand of this little horn. But then at the end, it plays out in a grand finale way at the last week, Daniel's 70th week. That's why you see it 2 different ways. It's written right here. First it say 1,260 days. Then it says a time and a half of a time. But when you do those calculations, it's not quite the same, if you know what I'm saying. 1,260 is not quite 3.5 years, right? But then when you get this time and a half of a times, it's 3.5 exactly. You see what I'm saying? And then you got the 42 months going into the 2 witnesses. 42 months, 3.5 years. 1,203 score days with 42 months, and show y'all the difference. And the serpent cast out his mouth water as of a flood after the woman, that he might carry her away of the flood. But the earth helped the woman, right? And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. You see that? Which kept the commandment. So you see how I keep going over it, say the outcome, then say, all right, let me go over it again for you, in case you didn't get it. And because it's a deeper mystery with it. So look, it's going to be crazy when y'all see how this play out in the heavens. You're going to be like, whoa, you see that? You see that? You see that? It gets deep. It gets real deep. So I'm going to play a video that goes over the different signs being played out in the heavens, and then of course the scriptures that goes with it. But I want to go over something else too. So as I'm studying this stuff, I'm in the book of Daniel myself. Not the book of Daniel, but the book of Job. And I've been reading Job, and I get the Job, you know, the part when the Most High come out the sky and he talking to Job. And he like, were you here when I did this, when I created this and I did this? He dropped some jewels on him too. He said, Job 38:16 say, hast thou entered into the springs of the sea? Or hast thou walked in the search of the depth? Have you walked the sea, the search of the depth? Who did that? Who walked on the water? Have the gates of death been open unto thee? Or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death? What I just say? He stole the power from the enemy. He went down to the gates of hell. Have the gates of death been open unto thee? Or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death. Huh, he dropping jewels on Job. I bet Job like, dang, who did that? So we're going to keep going. I'm going to skip ahead. You know, it's a whole spiel. He just going, who did this? You know what I'm saying? So verse 29. Out of whose womb came the ice and the hoary frost of heaven? You can actually go look this up. Out of the womb comes what? A baby? Yeah. But blood when a baby come out. So Antarctica literally gushes out blood out of the doors every year. The earth has a period. Now watch this. Out of whose womb came the ice? The blood, you can look it up on Google. It's called Blood Falls in Antarctica. It is blood comes out from the earth, literally on the ice, and it looked nasty. It looked like pregnancy. You know, disgusting. But the earth does this at the borders of it. Out of the whose womb came the ice and the hoary frost of heaven. You see, it seals heaven. That's what seals heaven. Who have gendered it? Who have gendered it? Who said that the earth was a woman? Who gendered it? The waters are hid as with a stone, and the face is healed as with is hid as with the stone. That's like if you put a cap or like a tomb. They rolled the stone over the tomb to seal it up. He said that the earth is sealed up, so the water is hid from it. The waters above, sealed off. As with the stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. Why? Because the ice ring around this ice. That's kind of like a stone because it's solid. Keeps it in and locks it and cages it, right? Now this is the point right here, what I'm getting to. Verse 31. Canst thou bind the sweet influence of Pleiades? Pleiades. I've been going into this. Pleiades, I'm going to put the definition right here. It means 7 stars. A 7-star parade. Now, what inspired this video, before I even read this in Job, I've been looking at the constellations and how all these miraculous signs and wonders is showing up in the heavens all 2025. 2024 and 2025. All year. Well, I'm going to put that up here. But on February 28th, there will be 7 planets in alignment. 7 planets called so-called stars in alignment. Perfect alignment. They said this ain't happened in 5,000 years. It won't happen for another 5,000 years. Because these wandering stars or so-called planets move at a certain way. And it's only going to be a certain amount of time for this star to be in this constellation at the same time as this one. And all 7 of them to be in alignment. So, I've been studying like, man, this is crazy. Just Revelation 12, 2017, and then let me give you the breakdown. 2024, the new year come. we get the eclipse. The same eclipse we seen, 2017 had an eclipse too that showed these signs, that let us know these signs is in the heaven. 2024, we get an eclipse right before the first day of the year, the biblical year. The first crescent moon was April 9th. The eclipse was the 8th, right?
Solar eclipse happening next month could fulfill a 2,000-year-old Bible prophecy. On April 8th, a once-in-a-lifetime solar eclipse is going to plunge certain parts of America into total darkness during the middle of the day. The news is even calling this an astronomical experience like no other. The shocking part is this eclipse is going to be passing through 8 towns called Nineveh, which is the city recorded in the Bible where the prophet Jonah warned them about the wrath of God to come. This will also be taking place under the constellation Cetus, which means the whale. As many of you know, the prophet Jonah was swallowed by a whale before being spit onto the shore to go preach repentance to Nineveh. Jesus says in Matthew 16:4, "A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a
feel to be loved."
Solar eclipse happening next month could fulfill a 2,000 or being spit onto the shore to go preach repentance to Nineveh. Jesus says in Matthew 16:4, "A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign shall be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed." We learn in the very beginning of the Bible that God created astronomical events in the sky to be signs to mark sacred times. Genesis 1:14 says this, "And God said, let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times."
That's 7 years since the last eclipse we had. Then we had some eclipse in 2020 too. Remember? Everybody was talking about the patterns that the eclipses is making. It's making the alpha sign, and then the Tha, which is the first letter and the last letter in the Hebrew. The alpha, the omega, the first and the last. So from 2017 to 2024, the Most High showing you these in the heavens, letting you know first and the last. This is the beginning and the end of wonders, the beginning of sorrows unto the end of times. That's what it's representing. And I look at this just like Joseph in Egypt. I don't got to get all the precepts because that'll make it take longer. But the same way Joseph had 7 years of plenty in the famine, before the famine, 7 years of famine. 2017 was the start of the 7 years of plenty. Come into the fold. Learn that you descend from a holy bloodline, a holy people. Come back to the covenant. Not the covenant made with your fathers, but come to Messiah and a new covenant to restore you, to bring you back to life. Many called. 2017. Few are chosen when it gets to the end. But, so, the famine is next after the plenty. The 7 years of plenty represents Israel waking up in abundance. 7 years of famine represents the tribulation, the last 7 years. That's no cap. Because 2024, add 7 years to that. What you get? You get 2031. 2031. Now, it's brothers that I'm going to put some stuff up here. It's brothers who do calculations and studies on the timeline and all of that stuff. And when Messiah was crucified, and you get different dates. But for my study, the most accurate date, 31 AD. The bottom one has 2030 marked at 6,000 years. Resurrection. Crucifixion and resurrection. That was 31 AD. Me, that's without a shadow of a doubt. It's even encoded in the numbers. And that's what's crazy. I've been before this, I was getting into the Hebrew and seeing how the numbers point to different events. And I ain't even get deep into that study to even fully grasp it, but I'm gonna get to it. But the Most High showing me it's also in the stars. These proofs is gonna be without a doubt once they get revealed and people see. But without further ado, I'm continuing Job 38:31. It say, canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? The Orion's belt. These is constellations. The Pleiades is a 7-star constellation. The Orion, or the bands of Orion, I believe is the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper. One of them. Canst thou bring forth Mazzarots in his season? That word for Mazzarots is the 12 zodiacs with its 36 associated constellations. Or canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons? I think that's the Big Dipper. Arcturus and Orion, that's the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. The minor and the major, right? That is right next to the North Star in that constellation. Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven? Canst thou see the dominion thereof in the earth? Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth? So they have dominion and it plays out on the earth, but not the way that they told you. It's deep. Job 9:9. Let's see what that say. Job 9:9. Which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south, which doeth great things past finding out, yea, and wonders without number. You see that? Let me go back. Let me start up a little bit. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength, who have hardened himself against him and have prepared. All right, verse 5. Job 9:5. Which removeth the mountains, and they know not, which overturneth them in his anger, which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble, which commandeth the sun, and it riseth not, and setteth up the stars, which alone spreadeth out in the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea, which maketh Arcturus and Orion, the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, and Pleiades, the 7-star parade constellation, and the chambers of the south, the chambers of the south. Antarctica is south. The chambers of the south, which doth great things past finding out, and wonders without number. Lo, that's why I say a wonder appeared in heaven. Revelation 12, a wonder appeared without number. Right? Hold on, I think I need to find these precepts, man. I should have wrote them down, bro. What's this? Psalms 147:4. It say, he telleth the number of the stars. He calleth them all by their names. So he named the stars. Why? Because they actually have names. That's another lesson. to Enoch and stuff like that, and those lost books, it gives you more meat on these verses in the scriptures that speak on it briefly, like the sons of God. And we can also get, what's that, Psalms 82. I'm gonna get that too. Genesis 15:5. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto them, so shall thy seed be. Them little hints too that he compared us to stars. It's other scriptures that go into that too, but what's that? Psalms 82. And I just read this in the last Psalm series too. But it says, Yahweh standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. Right? Now when you skip down, it's going to elaborate. They know not, verse 5, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O Yahweh, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit the nations. Amos 5:9. Or 8. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars, and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into morning, and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. Keep in mind that cup and that water pouring on the earth. Keep that in mind. Then, of course, we got Revelation 12. Again. But not just Revelation 12. I'm going to show y'all how most of Revelation is playing out. 12, 13, chapter 6. It's deep. We read 12. I'm going to go back to 6 a little bit. We're going to get a little bit in that. Let me see. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, and it were the noise of thunder. One of the 4 beasts said, saying, come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse. This white horse. And he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he had opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd beast say, come and see. And I saw the 7 angels. Wait a minute, Slacky. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. That sound like today, don't it? We killing each other all over the earth. And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts, saying, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast saying, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Sound like the 4 sword judgments with that. That's why I said, and death followed him, and hell followed him. Sound like the four sword judgments. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh, and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Yah? Holy and true dost thou not judge and avenge the blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season unto their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were, should be fulfilled. Remember, people been getting martyred for Yahweh Shai since 2,000, almost 2,000 years ago. Right? And it's going with that. Like I said, 31 AD seems very accurate, because 7 years from 2024 is 2031. And that will be exactly 2,000 years if you follow that calendar. So these signs is lining up too perfect. So verse 12, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Could that be the fallen, not the fallen angels that's thrown to the earth, but Satan being cast down? And the stars, or the 2/3 of heaven, come falling with him? Because when you look at the constellation, the Draco constellation that I'm going to put up, at this certain time is when his tail draw 1/3 of the stars down, but then next to his tail is an asteroid shower. I'm going to put it up for y'all, man. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of its place. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, rich men, chief captains, and the mighty men, every bond man, every free man, hid themselves in the dens and the rocks and the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall upon us, hide us from the face of him that sit on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. And the great day of his wrath is come. Who shall be able to stand? Right? And I heard the number of them sealed, 144,000, right? And they get sealed. So I'm reading Revelation. This is Revelation 9 now. And if y'all remember back in October, I did a video talking about Revelation 6 and 9 showing in the heavens in October. Actually, October 9th. Crazy. October 9th in this Revelation chapter 9. And this appeared in heaven. I will put this in the video as well if y'all don't believe me.
The fourth planet is also being used to symbolize the fourth horseman of the apocalypse. From October 9th, Mars enters its retrograde region in the sky and circles backward to the other twin of Gemini, known as Apollo or Apollyon, exactly 5 months later. Mars only goes retrograde to Gemini about once every 16 years, which makes this much more rare than simply finding Mars in Gemini. Starting this process in the month of the Solemn Assembly only occurs once every 5,000 years. John goes on to describe the last horse. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Apollo is usually painted with a harp, a shield, and arrows. According to legend, his arrows show his authority in hell, for whoever he strikes with them, he sends them into hell. Legend has it that Apollo could also use his bow and arrow to rain down plagues and illness down into the mortal realm, causing death and destruction. Revelation explicitly mentions Apollo in the context of 5 months in chapter 9. Their power was to hurt men for 5 months, and they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Greek is Apollyon. Revelation chapter 9 verses 10 through 11. The bottomless pit is a symbol of death and hell, which is directly connected to the pale horse. The relationship between Apollyon's 5 months of torment and the 5 months for Mars to circle back to mark the 4th horse is incredible. Both horsemen kill with the sword, while Mars is simultaneously red, the 4th planet, and symbolizes the god of war. Lastly, just before the Gemini twins is a unicorn constellation, a horse with a great sword or horn. This completes the picture of Gemini, representing the last 2 of the 4 horsemen. So far, we have covered the 4 horsemen with the Moon, Venus, and Mars, located in 2 constellations of centaurs, being half horse and half man, along with the 2 famous horsemen represented by Gemini twins standing above a unicorn horse. But Revelation has much more to say about what is in the sky on October 9th, 2024. Now that we have explored all of the parts of the sign, let's put it all together. Behold Jupiter, one like unto the Son of Man, and looking like a sardine stone, stands still in a half hour of silence in the heavens at the golden gateway of the ecliptic, and knocks. He is in the presence of the 7 candlesticks of the 7 sisters, who are in turn in conjunction with Uranus, meaning heaven. He then enters into the east gate and exits by the same. Then, behold the 4 horsemen, beginning with the white horse with a crown, to whom was given a moon shaped like a bow. And then the black horse, upon whom sat Venus with a pair of scales, a light shining in a dark place, or on a dark horse. They are then followed by the red horse of Mars, to whom was given a great sword, and his Gemini twin, the pale horse of Apollyon, 5 months later, who together sit above a unicorn, which could be thought of as a horse with a great sword. Next comes Saturn, a symbol of Babylon the Great, who, with its rings like a giant millstone, is thrown into a sea of water, poured from a bowl of wrath into the sky. All of this while a meteor shower coming from Draco the red dragon, whose tail spans a third of the sky and who casts stars to the earth as a nation is born in a day. He stands with a crown of 7 stars on his head in the presence of Virgo. Finally, the sun rises like a bridegroom holding the hand of the Virgo clothed in fine linen, bright and pure, at 6:40 a.m. in Jerusalem on the 9th of October. Every heavenly body visible to the naked eye.
But I'm going to read it. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. Who do we know has the keys of the bottomless pit or hell and death, like Job said? Yahushua, right? He conquered death, took the keys of hell, right? And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and upon them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing. We know that scorpion is a Scorpio, right? Scorpion. Keep that in mind. Neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Now, actually understanding Revelation and how this is exactly going to play out on the earth, so who am I to tell you exactly how it's going to play out? But I can tell you that an example is going on up there. For real. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle. These is angels. These locusts that is dealing with, they have scorpions, stingers, and they're like unto horses prepared unto battle. What locust do you know is like that? None. But comparatively, a swarm of locusts come is going to be the angels. My prediction might be from the stars dragging, his tail dragging a third of the stars with him. Those angels might be fallen demonic or evil angels that fall down on the earth and swarm and hurt the people for 5 months and got power to sting and, and do stuff like that. Because, like he said, these horses gonna come, then that pale horse come, death on it, and hell follows. You know what I'm saying? So, it, like I said, it sounds like the 4 sword judgments. When you read Ezekiel, it talk about these angels bring forth destruction upon the earth by commandments of the Most High. Right? And their faces were as the faces of men. You see that? So these locusts got faces of men. So they're angels. Remember? One got a face of a man. The other one got the face of a ox. And then a lion. And then an eagle. And they had hair as the hair of women. And their teeth were as the teeth of lions, and they had breastplates as if it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stingers and stingings in their tails, and the power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, the devil. The angel of the bottomless pit. Remember, this angel went down to get the the key to the bottomless pit. He took it from the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue have his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from 4 horns of the golden altar which is before Yahweh, saying to the 6th angel, which have the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. This is how you know these times are upon us, because the great river Euphrates is drying. I don't know if it's dry yet, but when it do, they will be released.
The Euphrates River continues to dry up as prophesied within the Bible. This is an amazing footage I came across from 2020 in comparison to 2021 in the same spot. You'll see right now, here's 2020. You'll see how full it is, and you'll see here in a moment just the level that it's dropped to. Just absolutely seeing Bible prophecy in front of our eyes. And this we know will come to pass because of Revelation 16:12, when the 6th angel pours out his vial on the river Euphrates, and the water therefore is dried up, so the kings of the east can be prepared. So that was 2020, and as you can see here, 2021, and the river is completely dried up. We aren't at the part of Revelation where the angels are pouring out their vials, but it's moving towards this time. And I believe that this is a foreshadowing, God giving a warning for people to actually see that the Bible is real and to get their hearts completely right before the angel pours his vial on the river and it's completely dried up, and the 4 angels that are bound there are loosed, that will cause absolute havoc upon the earth, as mentioned in Revelation 9:13 through 15. Revelation 9 verse 14, that 4 angels are bound under the Euphrates River, and when they're released, they will kill 1/3 of mankind. They will be accompanied by an army of horsemen, and the number of them is 200 million. Revelation 9:16 through 19. Revelation 9 verse.
This is real life. And the 4 angels were loosed. which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen was 200,000. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and jackinen, and brimstone in the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of the mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, and by fire, by smoke, and brimstone, which issued out of their mouths, the power in their mouths and their tails. Their tails were like serpents, and had heads, and with them they did hurt. That's tough, bro. And there's so much more to get into. Oh my Lord. So I'm gonna read Revelation 13. Who remember when the UN or what people? I forgot who did it, but they put this statue of this beast of Revelation up in front of, what was it? The UN. I think it was the United Nations, and they took it down within a year or two. I think they did that in like 2020, and they took it down since then. Revelation 13. This is what they built up. And I behold, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. The beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue. I'm glad we get into this part. To continue 42 months. Now this is dealing with the Antichrist. To continue for 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, and blasphemed his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given to him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations, and that all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. Did not Jewish families enslave African people, so-called African people? So in these end times, right after this tribulation, it say, he who killed with the sword must be killed with the sword, and you put into captivity, you gonna go into captivity. Who I'm looking at? Why would it mention all of this after the beast and the Antichrist thing? The 42 months. Power was given to him for 42 months. Then after that, it say that because the people that's going to boost up this Antichrist is the same ones that enslaved us. You see that? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Jewish man. That should scare you, buddy. It's all love. This is in love, edification, and truth. But that's why I say prophecies is being presented wrong, because they not understanding the true context. Like I said earlier, why would a people that don't even believe in a Messiah, why would the Most High make it seem like they're fulfilling prophecy by coming back to the land of Israel? That's not no prophecy being fulfilled, bro. If anything, that's showing, and it appearing in heaven is showing signs of the Antichrist building his nation and his people. And it's a warning in the heavens, beware. And true Israel woke up, and we've been waking up for a long time, but in bulk, 2017. Now the woman appearing in heaven with 12 stars over her head is a little more significant in 2017. The same year Kendrick Lamar said, "I'm an Israelite, don't call me black no more." Same year that happened. And you know what's been going on since then. But since we on the 42 months, I got something else interesting to bring up. And I behold another beast coming. This verse 11, 13, 11, Revelation. Another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now, on a brighter, wider aspect of this, that deadly beast whose head was wounded. Now, people trying to say, oh, somebody's going to get assassinated. Trump going to get assassinated. While I do think Trump is going to set all this up, he exercising the beast before him. But the head wound represents Rome, the Roman Empire, right? And then the reconstruction of the Roman Empire, which is the Catholic Church. So, and I believe that I believe that the way that this is happening, it happens throughout history the same way with the times and a half of a time. It's a big portion for that, 1715. But then it's also the smaller condensed version of that, which is why you see it getting mentioned more than once. Same thing with this 42 months and the 2 witnesses. It's the same thing. You got a big part, and then you got a smaller part, right? So Rome represents that bigger part. And then in the smaller version of it, the Antichrist is going to enact that in the flesh. So, who knows what can happen? You know what I'm saying? But through history, we can see that Rome took a mortal head wound to his head, but it didn't fully die. It was revised and remade. And then Constantine, which is the little horn, basically brings Rome back to life and kind of makes it Antichrist. Because before, Rome was just straight pagan. Now he took on Christ and Christianity. It's a Antichrist thing. The first Antichrist was Constantine. The first true Antichrist on a big scale. Constantine. Of course, the fake not the fake Jews, but the Jews of the time, also the fake Jews, probably, I'm sure Esau was in there. They was the first Antichrist. That I could say on a smaller scale, on a Jerusalem scale, like in Jerusalem. And then Constantine became the fulfillment of Antichrist worldwide, if that makes sense. But I'm going to give y'all something real quick, show y'all what I mean. Okay, and four beasts, great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and the eagle's wings I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second like a bear, and it raised up itself one side, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between the teeth of it, and they said unto it, arise, devour much flesh, right? That's Medes and Persians. Then I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. This the connection with Revelation. That beast like a leopard. That's dealing with Greece, so it's the characteristics of this beast. We know that the leopard in Rome, which is Greece and Rome, is like a convergence. So like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, and the beast had also 4 heads. Dominion was given to it. Afterward I saw in the night vision, behold, a 4th beast, dreadful, terrible, strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured, brake in pieces, and stumped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts before it, and it had 10 horns. And I considered the horns, and beheld, there came up there another little horn. Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. So there's one little horn plucked up 3. Behold, in this horn were the eyes like the eyes of a man, and mouth speaking great things. So I'm going to go to verse 20. And it say, the 4th beast, verse 19. I know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth was iron, whose nails of brass, which devoured and brake in pieces and stumped the residue, right, with his feet, and the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of them horns that had eyes and mouth, and spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld the same horn made war with the saints, like it said in Revelation, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came. Remember, he said he got to fulfill how many of the saints going to get killed. And then, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. All right, so he finna explain this beast. Verse 24, and the 10 horns of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, Constantine. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. You can study the 3 tribes plucked up from the Roman Empire. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times, laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time, times, and the dividing of a time. And the judgment shall be set, and shall take away his dominion to consume, right? Okay. So when you get into this, what's that part when it say he say peace and safety, but much when he comes sudden destruction. So the UN 7-year plan refers to The United Nations doing all this before 2030 or by that time for the eradication of poverty, hunger, inequity, climate change, among other issues. But you can look into this yourself. It's a lot deeper and a lot darker than the surface of what it's saying right here. But 7-year plan, 2030. Agenda 2030 has turned into Agenda 25, and they keep rebranding it. But it's all for the purpose of changing government, which you will see in a second. So the United Nations Peace and Safety Treaty, peace, security, climate change, sustainability, gender. What's that say? The transformation of global governance, peace and safety, like the Bible says. It's crazy. 2024, this went into effect. Trump signed the peace treaty his last term, but it went into effect 2024. Wow. That's crazy. So they're finna change the government globally, like we've been saying. Because a big piece in this is dealing with the Peace and Safety Treaty. And then, so the same way in Daniel, the same way that Cyrus, Darius made the decree for Israel to go back to Jerusalem and build the third temple, it's a video out of somebody in Stellarium showing the constellations of when Trump won his presidency, the night he won, and his inauguration. And when you look at the constellations, it's all the way up until the fall of 2025, this whole year, is mimicking Daniel and Cyrus and Darius giving a decree, and the king and 3 kings in Persia. Y'all got to see the video to understand, you know what I'm saying? But I'll put it up. With that being said, man, I feel like I touched on enough. I'm going to put these videos in here. I'm going to put up, because even leading up to this, I've been seeing the stars in the heaven, because it's been 6 planets in the heavens since December or January, and February 28th is when the 7th one is gonna line up, the Pleiades, right? And I believe that this Pleiades, the reason it's a sign, because it ain't happened ever in a long time, 5,000 years or so, and it ain't gonna happen no more. So that's a sign. That's telling you that it's dire times. It's like pivotal right now. And I've been going through my own little stuff with that. I'm outside looking at the stars and trying to capture it. And then they send drones at me, man. It's been drones everywhere. And y'all, these so-called planets definitely out here. Or is it a planet? Or is that a star, man? Is that a star? Look at that. I wasn't even recording. No, that's not the moon, y'all. That ain't the moon, y'all. They say that's one of them planets. That's one of them there planets there. I don't know about that, though. Oh, shit. We got some motherfuckers outside. Boy, that's a whole drone, boy. Yo. I ain't gonna lie, I think I got that on video. That's a whole drone, boy. Y'all see that?
Man, what the fuck? This bitch coming back around, look.
It's another one. Bro, that mug, I think I got it on video, man. That boy tried to fly in the backyard, bro. I'm not lying, bro. And then, what do you start? It's more stars up here. That's what I'm trying to record, and they gonna send the CIA at me, bro. Like, what? Look at that. He is twinkling. Is that a star or a planet? I'm not sure. Look at that. Wait, where the other one? Right there. They in alignment and they twinkling, man. I think these drones, they don't want us to see this, y'all. Bro. These boys in alignment out here. It's hard to catch them. I gotta zoom in on my phone. But yeah, it's crazy because the more I just been getting into it, I come across more information about it. So I've been searching these videos and just looking into it, and it's crazy. It's really crazy. So look into it, man. Don't watch this video and look into the same things I'm showing you on YouTube. You can look up these people that actually know what they talking about in more depth than I do. That's gonna show you how this is appearing in heaven. And now when I get it back into my Hebrew study deep, I'm gonna show how in the Hebrew numbers, the Hebrew, when you decode the Hebrew, it's a numerical value, and how certain numbers equal up to the date in which it was fulfilled. And the date is just crazy, like, and I think that's just gonna blow this open even more with the understanding. And you know, yeah, man, it's a lot. But yeah, with that, this is my first little part of it. If I got more, I'll bring it to the people. I got a lot more on other topics, so I'm gonna get back on the videos real soon. I've been just trying to figure out a lot of stuff, but all praise to the Most High. We in a crazy time to be alive right now. The same time the stars aligning, rivers turning into blood and red. You can look that up too. Peru, Argentina, blood coming out of Antarctica, different places too. China, I believe. All these different places, they rivers turning red. The Euphrates River almost dry. They just started building a third temple. And what's crazy, when I show y'all these videos with Trump, it matched too perfectly, because his last term, he signed a peace treaty with Israel. He did that already. He's a part of the Zionist movement. So the peace treaty was signed, but now they're talking about building the third temple, and he's going to help do it. And what's crazy, this is something I just found out. They've been keeping notice of 5 cows, red heifers, that was growing, getting raised in Texas. And these cows are biblically a match to be used for the sacrifices or whatever. So why does the Christian authorities, whoever that is, the Christian authorities inform Jerusalem to tell them that these cows can be taken to Israel so they can build it? They already been secretly building the third temple since Trump then got in office. Or even before that. All this war going on in Israel, but they secretly building the temple. They gonna destroy the Dome of the Rock probably, and that's gonna cause some crazy stuff. Build a new temple. And then why would the Christian authorities inform Jerusalem? Think about that for a second. Jerusalem, these people, a lot of them don't even believe in the Messiah has come and risen. So why are you helping them build a temple to a pagan, a false Christ? Why is the Christian people helping that? That's why I said, man, I think this Antichrist dude is going to come and set up. It's a lot. The agenda go deep. I got more to talk about. I was finna end the video, but I got more to talk about. The agenda to give this Antichrist a people. It ain't just gonna be a false Christ. He gonna have a false people. That's crazy. And then with that, we got, you can look into this. It's called the Shroud of Turin or something like that. It's the so-called sheet. It's the so-called sheet that they so-called wrapped the Messiah in after he died, right? And then he resurrected in the sheet. You know, he left the sheet behind. But they said that the sheet left the imprint of his body, of his face and all of that. So they get this AI technology to scan and shoot 24,000 lasers at this sheet to bring forth an image in this cloth. And of course they produce an image that looked like the Caesar Borgia picture of Jesus that we're so used to. But they want to tell you it's technology that we would have never been able to use to figure this out. So they're going to prepare for a false Christ, but they need a false people. And AI, watch this.
Watch out for 666. Watch out for 666.
In a vision of the future, I saw in a vivid dream that the hour is soon coming when men will become machines. A new one world order will rise and then demand that all the world's people receive their scientific brand. I saw a tiny free program, computer chips so thin, implanted in men's foreheads underneath their skin, linking all its errors to the system's central brain. The master computer that over them will reign.
Watch out for 666 and their computer chip that is designed to strip you on your self-control. Don't sell your soul.
So look, peep this. Revelation 13 and 15. 14. And deceiving them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that, you know, the technology they got, they gonna be able to do crazy things in front of people. And they gonna fool people into thinking that this is really a Messiah God figure that they should make. And then this is another thing I want to touch on. Trump and Elon Musk. Like I was saying, it happened in a big spectrum. The wound from Rome, that's gonna happen. It could happen fleshly too with the Antichrist or the son of perdition, man of perdition, because it would make sense for an Antichrist to embody not a human, not a person, because think about it, that person is a soul already. The devil's not in control of nobody's soul but the Most High. But what these people did was create a vessel for the Antichrist to dwell in. The rise of AI. That's what this is about. Watch this. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast or for the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So spiritually, the sword healed. But physically, can it be possible for a man to die and then they get rebirthed by AI? Their consciousness get put in a body, or they probably was already in a body to begin with that wasn't human. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, I've been saying this for years, that Siri represented the beast speaking. We got the internet, like what John seen. We finna read it. Let me just read it first and I'll speak on it. Verse 16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, don't matter your class at this point no more, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man shall buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So back when I was in high school, I figured out that the letter W in Hebrew represents the Wa, right? The Wa in the Hebrew, or they might call it the Vav, V-A-V, but it's really a Wa. The Vav represents a 6. It's the 6th letter in the alphabet. It represents a 6. Also, man was created in the 6th day. It is the number of a man. So you got 666. Some people look at that, the neutron, electrons, neutrons, all that stuff. 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. Yeah. That's the makeup of a man. So you see the correlation. Man was created on the 6th day. So if you want to take that, yeah, man represents 6. But this is much deeper. You see how I just went back to the creation day? Man. That's what the devil wants to do. He wants to go back to and be and mimic God by mimicking his creation. So what? He's going to make him a vessel, him a man to dwell in. And it's represented in 6. WWW. I knew that represented 666. Right? And this is the internet. I knew that the internet played a piece in the mark, like I just said, because the microchip, the plan is still in place. The microchip is the mark that will tie you to the beast system, to the Internet of Things. Look up the Internet of Things. They want to get us all connected in a web, kind of like this. So it's like they've made a way to make this possible. 100, 200 years ago, people didn't understand Revelation because they didn't know the technology we have. So Siri talking and all this new age AI advancement is just the beast speaking. He gave power for the beast to speak. And now the heavens is displaying the calling of a temple being built when Trump get in office. And his last term, he did the peace and the safety treaty. And it was something going on in the heavens around that time too. So it's just warning after warning after warning. And if you just take it as if it's nothing, you're going to be deceived and you're going to be fooled. Because they gearing up. Elon Musk setting up the chip, the beast system. I'm going to put that in here too. Elon Musk's reaction to Trump winning. Why is he reacting like this?
It feels like. Yes! This is what victory feels like. Yeah! And this was no ordinary victory. This was a fork in the road of human civilization. Okay. This you know, there are elections that come and go. Some elections are, you know, important, some are not. But this one this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured. Thanks to you. We're going to have safe cities, finally, safe cities. Secure borders, sensible spending, basic stuff. And we're going to take Doge to Mars. I mean, can you imagine how awesome it will be to have American astronauts plant the flag on another planet for the first time? Bam! Yeah! How inspiring would that be? You know, there's always problems in life. You know, there's this problem, solve that problem. But you know, there need to be things that inspire you. There need to be things that make you glad to wake up in the morning and say, I'm looking forward to the future. Yeah. And I love you guys. So, and let me tell you, I'm gonna work my ass off for you guys. So, I really will. So, and yeah, but I'm super fired up. For the future. It's going to be very exciting. As the president said, we're going to have a golden age. It's going to be fantastic. And one of the fundamental things, that one of the most American values that I love is optimism. And this feeling like we're gonna make the future good. We're gonna make it good. So, man, I can't wait. This is gonna be fantastic. So thank you again. And yeah, I'm just so excited about the future. Thank you guys, thank you.
Talking about dark MAGA and the advancement of human civilization and AI. And now they want to go to Mars as well. No, Mars is going to come to this mug. These demons and these fallen angels that is coming through these portals. That people, like my brothers and sisters in the Hebrew community, might say, oh, these the chariots of the Most High. No, we got to reconsider this stuff. These might be fallen. They might be other entities. That's on the earthly level. And I'm going to get back into my Ascension of Isaiah chapters because I got to read that out so y'all can see how that play out. Because it helps you understand the levels of heaven. And this lower level of the firmament, which is this first level, that first level, that's carnal. Ascension of Isaiah explained how that first level, that first heaven in the firmament, is all carnality. Left-hand angels, weaker angels than the more exalted angels, the higher you go up. And then the higher you go up, it's the right side, it's the left side. So this is stuff happening in our atmosphere, in our firmament. It's hundreds of government files on UFOs and stuff like that. But what if when it's time for them to be released from their cages? Oh man.
39 is a clue. Without him and his book Nephilim, which was a novel that got me down this path, I wouldn't be here right now. But I think Ezekiel 39 is a clue, but you got to understand the worldview of the prophets to understand what Ezekiel was writing. In Ezekiel 39, he's writing about the culmination of the war of Gog and Magog, and Gog was the Old Testament Antichrist figure, okay? He is the figure that John in the book of Revelation calls the Antichrist. That is the same war that culminates with the Battle of Armageddon, which is fought for the Har Moed, God's Mount of Assembly, which is Zion, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Ezekiel says, God said that he will prepare a place in Israel for burial of Magog, the forces of Magog. The Valley of the Travelers east of the sea. It refers to east of the Dead Sea. And it will block the travelers. The key is understanding that travelers in the Old Testament concept, the Old Testament world, were spirits that would travel or cross over from one plane of existence to another. In other words, the realm of the dead to the land of the living. And the places where he identifies east of the Dead Sea are places that during the Exodus, the stations of the Exodus, refer to a couple of places that are named for these interactions with the spirit realm. One of the stops in the Exodus, one of the stations of the Exodus is called Ovoth, which means spirits of the dead. It's based on a root word Ov, which means medium. The medium of Endor that Saul went to see was the Ov of Endor. In fact, one of the giants killed by David's men, Ishbi, they condensed the word. Ishbi Benab is how it looks to us in English. Ishbi Ben Ov. Ishbi, son of the necromancer, son of the medium. And he was of the descendants of the Rapha, the sons of the Rephaim. The Rephaim were these spirits that the Amorites, the Canaanites, believed were the spirits of the mighty men who were of old, the ancestors of their kings. They were called in Canaanite texts, called by scholars the Rephaim texts, written about the time of the judges, where these Rephaim were summoned through necromancy rituals to the tabernacle of El, Mount Hermon, where El, they believed, would speak words of revivification to resurrect these spirits that were called warriors of Baal And in these texts, they're described as warriors. They mount their chariots and they travel first one day and then another. And at dawn of the third day, they arrive to be resurrected. Like Jesus, who went down and preached and proclaimed to the spirits in prison until dawn of the third day, when he arrived, except that he really was resurrected. And Ezekiel, in Ezekiel 39 says, this is where these travelers will be buried. Another one of the stops on the, in fact, the mountain where Moses was led by God to get his only view of the Holy Land, the Promised Land. Climb this mountain of the Avarim. In Hebrew, that means travelers. Mount Nebo is the mountain of the travelers. It's right there across from Jericho in the plains of Moab. And that's where this demonic army will fall. Now, I believe that the Nephilim will return. I believe they're going to be the demons who possess a human army. I think by this point, the restrainer will have been removed. The church will be removed. So I pray I'm right, that we won't be here for that day, because that's the day of Armageddon. And when this demonic army comes against Jerusalem to try to claim God's Mount of Assembly, just like Lucifer in Isaiah 14, I will establish my Mount of Assembly on Mount Zaphon, raise himself above the stars, the angels of God. On that day, when God personally takes the battlefield, which Ezekiel describes, the travelers will be destroyed. And interestingly, in that verse in Ezekiel 39, he says, then the world will know I am the Holy One in Israel. That phrase is similar to one that we see in the Old Testament many times. The Holy One of Israel. Ezekiel 39, after he destroys the Antichrist army in the battle of Armageddon that ends the war of Gog and Magog, he becomes the Holy One in Israel because he's on the battlefield. So yes, that is when, the Nephilim have always been here. If they're the spirits of those who died in the flood 6,000 years ago, they've always been with us because demons have always been with us. But on that day, they will be inhabiting the bodies of I believe, this army that comes against Israel. It will literally be an army of the evil dead. Like the ultimate zombie apocalypse. God puts a stop to it. And what does it mean when Ezekiel writes in Ezekiel 39:11, it will block the travelers? The word translated block is only used one other place in the Bible. It's in Deuteronomy, the verse that talks about thou shalt not muzzle an ox when he treads out the grain. Muzzle. I'm not quite sure what that means, but if we take it in context of what Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians 15, that we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. We will be resurrected. Maybe that's what God is saying. I will block the travelers. They're dead, and they are staying dead when the rest of us are resurrected into new glorified bodies.
And then we see stuff like this. Oxford scientists say they achieve quantum teleportation. And this is actually dealing with a quantum computer that they just made using this AI technology, where they say they got the power to go through different dimensions and break through different universes to compute these answers. Not a person actually teleporting, but the computer. And who are they communicating with? We don't know what to expect. 2025 is going to be crazy. But just know that it's showing us how close we is to the end. To keep our faith in the Messiah. Wake up every day, pray, and ask him to protect you. Because we entering into the worst times of human history. And it's a beautiful thing for me to see right now. The plagues ain't touching near us. Yah willing, he keep us safe. But yeah, man, prophecy is fulfilling, and not the way, like, some people might be on point with certain things, but then when it comes to certain other things, not so much on point, because these now Israel in the end times plays a big role. Like Daniel chapter 12. I'm gonna end my point with this.
Bet y'all ain't catch this. Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam. Wasn't it I that explained to y'all Uncle Sam is actually Samael, the poison one, also referred to as the snake? Other names for that being Azazel, who also looks just like Uncle Sam or a goat. He's also called Lucifer, Satan, the dragon, aka Drake. If you didn't know, Drake does mean the dragon. Drake also refers to himself as the sixth god, who is Lucifer or Baphomet, also the dragon. That dragon was written to have to go to war with Michael. Go read Revelation chapter 12. The dragon does not prevail. It's already written. Listen, there's another thing to pay attention to about this Sam word. You got Samuel L. Jackson, Uncle Sam, Samael meaning poison of the snake or the venom of the snake or the one who poisons. But I'm gonna show you something that everybody missed. Remember Drake the Dragon's album For All the Dogs? Take a look at this album track list cover. Let's break it down. The S is for Sam. I'm gonna show you how. Look at this BW right here. BW stands for Berkowitz, as in David Berkowitz. David Berkowitz was known for killing 6 people because he said a demon dog influenced him to do so. That demon dog belonged to a man that was called Sam Carr. There's actually a car on that track list cover with the letter S on it. That means Sam Carr. Stay with me. Notice I said David Berkowitz killed 6 people. Drake's favorite number. He murdered those people by shooting them with the .44 caliber. One of his nicknames is the .44 caliber killer. Now, you remember this? Drake is wearing a shirt with the number 44 on it in a music video for his song First Person Shooter. David Berkowitz was also called Son of Sam. So who is this Sam being? Sam is the dragon, the devil, Shaitan. Also look at the number 200 is on the track list cover, also as in the 200 fallen angels that fell into this fire right here that you see his head. So when Drake said For All the Dogs, he was talking about himself, which is Drake the dragon, and all his angels that fell with him. Oh, you don't remember when he said this?
What a time to be alive. You and yours, versus me and mine.
So I just explained to you who Sam is, and you can see that Sam is associated with Drake and the United States by way of the nickname Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam has the same 5-pointed star on his head that Baphomet does. Baphomet is called the sixth god. When they saying in God they trust, do you think they talking about God the Most High or God of this world who is Satan?
And then we probably could save. Once I get some more, I feel like I need to add more, I'll make another video. But like it said in Daniel 12, and Michael shall stand up, and the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. So this same time of trouble I'm speaking about is when Michael is going to stand up for Israel, such as was never seen since there was a nation. And at the time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book, and many that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, and some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. Right? Then when you keep reading, it say that that basically when the holy people is scattered, then these things will be complete and the end will take place. So, and watch this, verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried. That's the remnant. Tried, like in Zechariah. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. Let's get it, Zechariah 13. It say, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver as refined, and will try them as gold as refined, and they shall call on my name. You see that? So the Israelites, for the prophecy of Israel being fulfilled in 1948, did they call on the Most High and he led them back to that land? Or did they reinvent this? Because if they cried out to the Most High, he would have forgave them. In Messiah, they didn't cry out to him like, oh, in the name of your son. No, they did not. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, the Lord is my God. Did it say that he said, oh, we going to do that, and then he going to bring us to the land? No. It said we're going to be caught up in the air with him, wherever you so may be. And the dead in Christ first, and then wherever so you may be scattered. That's my point, man. The hate for Israel still goes on, and end time prophecy is centered around them. And the Gentiles have a portion, but they can't jump in front or jump in with Israel before Israel can even be delivered. They still have to be delivered. We still have to be delivered. And this is another thing I wanted to touch. Scriptures talk about being adopted to children of the Most High. But then when we talk about the adoption as pertaining to the adoption and grafted in, we say it's the Gentiles. But no. The fullness of the Gentiles coming in represents the blessing amongst them. Israel being a blessing amongst them and mixing into their seed throughout history, starting with Dan and Asher and then the 10 tribes. And then they mixed into all these different nations, becoming the Gentiles. Of course, there's other Gentiles, but we're mixed. So now it's not based off of the flesh. It's based off the spirit. So those Gentiles that we might save the Gentiles, that was the mystery and the goal that the Most High scattered us for. That we might graft in the whole world. That is amazing, bruh. But Israel first has to take part in ruling the millennium. And then after that, the process continues. And then the Gentiles will be turned into sons of God the same way that the first fruits did Israel. And then it says the 12 fruit on the tree is for the healing of the nations. So this is not hate to say no Gentiles can make it. No, that's far from the truth. A lot of Gentiles gonna make it in the gates before those hating Israelites that want nobody to be saved but themselves, or that don't want to follow the Messiah and keep his new covenant. They won't make it in, but those Gentiles who believe will make it into the gates. And the Messiah is gonna separate everything. You belong here, you belong here, you belong here. And guess what? If you get told, oh, you ain't even an Israelite, but you believed and you did work, you can still make it in. Is you gonna deny that? Is you gonna be like, no, man, I wanted to be Israel, man? It's gonna be a rude awakening on that day for a lot of people and a lot of different sects and whatever you believe. That's why it's not about sex. It's about truth. And with that, I pray this was edifying. I'm going to juice it up. I'm going to throw the sauce in there for y'all, man, so y'all can see what's going on. And y'all willing, I'm going to keep at it. All praise to the Most High. Shalom. Shalom.